So I'm going to kind of walk you through this from start to finish. And if you already know some of these steps, sorry if I'm kind of overkill a little bit, but I'm not sure what you do and don't know. So um, I'm just going to, you want to start off by uploading outline of the Mickey silhouette. So I just went to Google Images, found a Mickey silhouette that has a good resolution. That's kind of a key. If you can find an SVG, that's great, but if you can't, that's okay. What I found was actually a JPEG. So I'm just going to go to upload images, and if you hit upload image and then browse, see, it's okay. It'll let you do the JPEG. So find that Mickey, and then you'll see that a JPEG image usually doesn't have a transparent background. So what this does is it has an actual square. This white box is not, it's not transparent. It's a white box. So I want to get rid of that so that all I have is the Mickey outline. The little checker means that it's transparent. So we'll just do a simple image since all it is a black outline. So I want to get rid of this white so that it's not a white background. We want it to just be transparent. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I can see everything. And then I'm going to hit this little select and erase magic wand. And then if you just click inside the white, it'll kind of automatically erase that. You can do this little eraser button too, but it just takes a little while and you can accidentally go into the black like that. So I don't like to use that. It's a lot easier just to use the little magic wand, just kind of one click and you're done. So then once you've got all the areas that you want to be transparent, then you're good to go and hit continue. Then we want to save this as a cut image, and then you should get a preview there of the outline of your cut image. So just hit save. Okay, and then it should show up down here. I've got about 3 copies of it, but we'll just select one and hit insert image. Okay, so here's your starting point. And so since yours had the kind of flag motif of, it was just kind of, half of it, you know what the picture looks like. So what I want to do is kind of split this in half to start with. And there's multiple ways to achieve what you're wanting. So I'm going to show you a couple different ways. One of them will probably be the easiest way to design it, and then the other way might be a little bit easier to layer the vinyl. And really you can decide. It's kind of everybody's preference. Some people don't like layering vinyl. Sometimes you just have to be so precise that people are afraid to be a little bit off. So I'll show you a couple different ways. First thing I want to do, like I said, is kind of split this Mickey in half. So what I'm going to do is insert a square and move that up. And I'm going to unlock it so I can make it more of like a rectangle. And then I'm just going to kind of judge it here, what looks to be about half of his head. We'll go about there. I think it was a little bit less than half on your so what I'll do next is I'm going to select everything so that I have both of these things highlighted, and then I'm going to choose to do the slice. I don't know if you've ever done the slice before, but what it is it's kind of like a cookie cutter. So basically it's just going to all of the lines that these two, actually it might be a little bit easier. Let me send this to the back so you can kind of see. Yeah, that's just a little bit easier to see where it's lined up. So everywhere that these two shapes intersect, it's going to slice out that area. So you're going to get down the middle of this Mickey, you're going to get the line of this rectangle sliced out like we're going to do a cookie cutter. And then also out of this rectangle, we're going to get the outline of half of that Mickey cut out. So you'll see that here in a second. I'm just going to select all, and we will go ahead and hit slice. So what I'm left with is this little piece of the gray where the two intersect, I'm going to be left with the outline of, or a black version of it too, and then the outline of the gray. Let me hit undo and get all those back in position because I want to try to get rid of just this outline piece. I'm going to delete that. And then I actually want to keep this gray because it's just a little bit easier to see a separate color. So I'm going to send this to the back so that I can just get the black one, and I'm going to delete that. Okay, so we've got half of the color. Now the next thing I'm going to do is that exact same thing, but I only want to do it with this bottom half of that Mickey. So I'm going to insert another shape, another square. Let me change this color just so it's kind of easier to see what we're doing. We'll just make it green. All right, so then we just want to, let me also move this to the back because I think it's just a little bit easier to kind of see the area that you're going to cut out. So I guess just judge it from, and you can use your arrow keys too to kind of move things around. I think you want to probably make sure that this line is lined up right here so that it's not, oops, grabbed the wrong one, so that it's not like too far over. So one thing you can do is get it pretty close, and then I'm gonna keep this square selected, hold my shift and just select this half, and then I'm gonna hit align, and then I'm going to align left. So that's gonna kind of have them all lined up on this left axis line. Okay, so then those are both selected, and I only want to select these two. You can only select 2 layers at a time to slice. I couldn't hit select all and slice because you can only do 2 layers at a time, and this is 3 layers. You've got the black, the gray, and the green. So I only want to do these 2. So I'll hold my shift and then we'll slice. And so then again, I want to delete this kind of outer and then also that layer. And then what I'll do is change this. And this, you know, what I'm doing may not be the exact placement where you want it. So you'll just figure out where you want the lines to cut. So we can go ahead and change these so that they're a little bit closer. I think the bottom one was red. This one was white. And then this one was blue. And it won't really matter what it looks like on the screen. It'll just matter what your vinyl color is. So then the last thing we want to do is add that star. So we'll just insert a shape of a star. And you just size it where you want it. And then we'll change that to white as well. So that's kind of the simplest way to do this. Now, when you do cut these out, they're all going to cut out separately. So when you iron them on, you're just going to have to be really careful about how you go and line these up. So that may be a little bit tricky for you. So one thing that may be a little bit easier is to have a solid white background, and then you would just put the blue layer on blue and red on top of it, and then you would have a little star cut out of the blue so that the white was showing through. Hopefully that makes sense. So let me try to make that version, show you how to make that version, and then I guess you can just decide which one is going to be easier for you as far as making your design. So let me go ahead and insert images, and then I'm going to filter it to my images. Oops. It gives me, I didn't mean to say my images. I meant to say uploaded. Unclick my images. All right, so here's the Mickey. Okay, so here's the other way that you can do it. Start with the Mickey, but I'm going to actually duplicate this so I've got 2 copies of him. So this first copy, I'm going to want to just make him solid white. All right, and then the second copy is the one that we're going to do all the slicing out of. So we'll just insert the square, and we'll want to slice this other half this time. Let me move that to the back so I can see what I'm doing here. Oops, I need to unlock it so I can make it a rectangle. Okay, that's, so select those two, slice it. Alrighty, so it doesn't really matter which layer of these two that you keep. You're just gonna make it, make it blue. Make one of them blue and then get rid of the other one. So then you would have this blue layer that you could use the white layer as a guide to put on top. And then we will do one more square to cut out a little piece of the bottom half of the red. Shift, slice that. If you can hear a noise in the background, I've got my microphone on, I'm not sure, but my dog snores like crazy. So if you hear noises in the background, that's my snoring dog. So we'll make that red, and then we can just basically get rid of everything else. Now, what you can do with the star, instead of making a white star, because this blue layer is on top of the white, you can cut a star out of this blue so that once it's cut out and you remove it, the white will show through. So what you can actually do, I know you might think you'd want to slice this star out, but an easier way, and it achieves the same thing, is I'm going to keep my star selected, hold the shift in just the blue layer, and then I'm going to hit attach. And what attach does is it is going to like freeze the position of these two, so now they're attached, and it's going to go to the cutting mat exactly like this. So even though it looks like the star is blue, what's going to happen when you go to your cutting mat is this is actually a cut line. So it's going to cut out a star in the blue, and then you just throw it out and you'll have that white background behind it. So those are a couple different ways you can do it. If you find another way that works for you, that's good too. I mean, I think it just depends on your preference and what you want to try to line up, whether you want to try to line up these edges really closely, or if you want to try to get this blue right on top of the white just right. That'll just kind of be your preference. So those are a couple different ways that you can achieve this. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, or if you have any other questions, you can just send me a message. So hope this helps you.